Welcome back to episode number 54 of the SaaS landing page review show. On today's episode, we are reviewing UnderPinned. Now, if you guys are a marketing freelancer, developer freelancer, anything that kind of comes under the kind of freelancer kind of umbrella, okay, then I really, really would recommend that you go and check these guys out. Okay, they've created almost like an all-in-one platform for essentially managing your freelance business. Okay, so like I said, if you're of any form of freelancer, then go and check these guys out. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this and start going through the page. So first of all, reading the headline, as always. So building the future of freelancing. So something that I would say about this headline, it's and kind of having kind of looked through the copy and especially kind of focusing on the headline, it's very, very high level. Like it's a very, very generic headline, right? And it's kind of for those who watch every single episode and kind of know the different terminology that I use. It's very much a mission statement headline, right? Now, mission statement headlines are the types of headlines where I saw one the other day and it says something along the lines of they were like a medical AI SaaS company, and it said like we are building the health blockchain technology that's going to shift up the medical world, and it's headlines that just don't really make that much sense and don't really speak to the end user in any form. It's kind of these types of headlines, they're great. They're great for, putting up on the office wall and kind of getting the team motivated. But in terms of like actually increasing conversions, these headlines tend to not work that well, right? Now, if you're Apple, right, if you're Amazon, you can pull these types of headlines off, right? But when you're, trying to grow and you're trying to kind of, increase brand awareness and kind of, take that market share, you have to kind of go about it in a more kind of conversion, optimized way, right? And that's just kind of from working with my clients and, how I've actually gone about increasing conversions. So kind of, an example of what you could use for this type of headline, could be something, along the lines of, running a freelance business, ? Or your freelance projects getting a little bit crazy and out of hand. Okay. Now, to kind of break down this headline and kind of why I structure headlines like this. Okay. So number one, what we're doing, part highlighted in red, is we're literally just calling out who our end user is. In this case, the freelancer. Okay. And we're then following it up by by the problem that they're experiencing in their freelance business. Okay. Now, I've been a freelancer before, I know a lot of people who are freelancers, and I know that, managing projects is just a nightmare. So obviously, you guys are going to know the problem better than I do. But, essentially the reason why we're structuring headlines like this, the reason why we're kind of, mentioning the problem, in the headline like this, is we're trying to create agitation. Okay. We're first of all getting the attention. So we're literally just calling out who our end user is in the first question. And then in the second question, we're basically just introducing the problem in question form. Okay. So they'll read that, the freelancer, they'll read that, they'll actually read that headline and be like, wow, yeah, that is my problem. That is, and it will just kind of, it will get them to start thinking about how much of a problem this is in their business. Okay. And that's the idea behind it. Now, again, moving on to kind of the, I guess, like the subheadline. So currently yours reads as one app to manage your projects from start to finish, from portfolio to invoice. UnderPinned is your virtual office to find work, manage work, and get paid on time. Okay. Now, one thing that I always say to founders, when they're, especially with the subheadline, is they dive too quickly into talking about, all the features and everything the software offers, all the benefits, and it just gets a little bit too crazy too quickly, right? And I think like the best analogy for this is, it's the guy when he goes up to the girl and he's just like gonna, straight away say, let's go for dinner. Like he doesn't even know his name. No, she doesn't even know his name. It's too quick, right? You're trying to explain everything your software does, and you're trying to kind of just ram it down your prospects' throats too quickly, right? And the best way to structure headlines is to kind of just get them interested, get them to kind of think about, what, kind of get them to, think about this problem in their business is kind of what I'm alluding to. Okay. So again, the idea behind the subheadline, just like in the headline, is we're introducing the problem. We're not talking about the benefits. We're not talking about, every single feature. All we're doing is just kind of, getting them to understand that we understand them and we understand their business and what they're going through, the problems that they're going through. Okay. It's very much, we're speaking to them. We're not just trying to, list every single feature and benefit that we've got. Okay. So an example of what you could say here is, something along the lines of, here at UnderPinned, we understand how crazy freelance projects can get when you're having to manage invoices, client projects, contracts, and everything else. Okay. And then this is why we create UnderPinned. Okay. Again, the idea behind this is we're introducing the problem. We're kind of creating that agitation. We're not trying to, list off every single feature and explain how the software works. It's too quick. All the aim of the aim of the headline and kind of subheadline is to first of all get the attention and then start to kind of create some agitation. Okay. Now, some other things that I've noticed as well, kind of focusing on the testimonials, is that, written testimonials are kind of the thing of, a few years ago. Like, they don't really, like, in terms of conversions, video testimonials just convert so much better because, it kind of, imagine I'm a freelancer, right? I'm looking for a software to manage my business, right? And then I hit this page and then all of a sudden, I scroll down, but I see written testimonials, right? But imagine if they were, if I've got, for example, Nicholas here, right? Imagine if you could turn that into a video testimonial, okay? In terms of conversions, it pretty much skyrockets, okay? Because when when someone can actually see someone else who was, in the same shoes as them, running a freelance business, struggling, okay, and then they can see them on camera saying how UnderPinned has solved this problem, okay, it builds so much trust compared to, just standard written testimonials, okay? The only other, alternative, in my opinion, to written testimonials are probably when you use, another example could be, using like Facebook reviews or, Capterra reviews. But to be honest, video, it works so much better, especially interview style video testimonials where, you as the founder, maybe the account manager actually gets on the call and conducts almost like a mini interview where you ask them about, their experience using the software, the problem they've been able to solve in their business, and really just kind of getting the nitty, gritty kind of data around, how they've actually used your software. Okay. So guys, I really, really hope you've enjoyed this episode. If any of you want to be featured on one of the upcoming episodes, just let me know. I think I may be hosting a webinar kind of next week or kind of over the next month, where I'll kind of be going through everything that I speak about, in these episodes. I'll be covering and really just walking through, exactly, how to structure a landing page from pretty much A to Z. Okay. So keep a lookout for that. I'll make a post about it, over the next week or so. But anyway, see you guys later.